Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the Empowered Career Woman podcast. My name is Kathy. As you guys know, I am just so thrilled once again to continue this conversation with Miss Andrea Roberts. Last week you guys heard her kind of talk about her story, but I just want to reintroduce her again. Andrea, would you please take it away? Tell us a little bit about yourself for our listeners who are listening to us this week.
Absolutely. I am Andrea Roberts. I am a consultant by trade, leadership development professional for over 20 years. I actually have a doctorate degree in ethical leadership. It is all encompassing for me. Leadership is not just leadership, but the development of leaders. I believe is part of my calling to help educate people. So I take great pride in that. In addition to my 9 to 5, I own Capital D Consulting and Coaching Services, where I get to do more of the same, but on a smaller scale. So instead of contracting out very expensive external consultants, I am available for 30-minute, I call it micro learning, 30-minute or 60-minute calls that are incredibly affordable, and just that I can be used as a thought partner to help with strategic planning, change management, or just your own leadership development, because so many of us have never had formal leadership development, that we just kind of try to figure it out every day at work when you don't have to, because there are tried and true strategies and frameworks available. So I present that to people and walk them through that to help them in their daily lives.
I absolutely love that. I knew you earned your doctorate degree, did not know that it was on, what'd you say, something leadership?
It's in ethical leadership.
Ethical leadership. This is absolutely your calling. And I believe this so much. When for all of the listeners out there, there's a lot of people have reached out to me, they've connected with me, and they said, this is this is your purpose, Kathy, for you to be able to like speak to us in ways that I can't get at work sometimes, or even get through family. And I appreciate all the feedback that you're giving me, because I'm learning even through this podcast. A lot of them I hadn't seen for years. I had an old college student reach out to me, and she said to me, I am crying listening to this one message
Mhm.
because it resonated with her. And I just know that that is the reason why I'm doing this. It is to help all of you become better, whether it be become a better mother, a better career woman, whether you're an entrepreneur. I am just grateful that I have and blessed for this opportunity to be able to talk to people like you and inspire the listeners that I have. So I'm just so grateful that you are here again with us this week. Um,
If you will give me a second to glow
yes.
on you for a second,
Yeah.
Kathy, I have known you for over 2 decades, for like 2.5 decades. You have never changed. The light that you shine has always been bright. You're one of the rare ones that they walk in the room and everyone is trying to figure out who is she, because that smile, no matter what. And we had gone through some hard days at
Oh, yeah.
work back in the day,
Hmm.
but that glow on you never dimmed. You are absolutely walking in your purpose. I believe your greatest attribute is the ability to not just build but maintain relationships. You're one of those people who people look forward to seeing when they're in town. And so something like this, where you've curated this space, this collective for like-minded people to come together,
Hmm.
you have to be at the helm of something like that, because people naturally trust you, because that light just never dims. It just gets brighter and brighter. And light is attracted to light, but dark is attracted to light too. It's trying to figure it out. Like, where is that coming from? How does that shine? That's absolutely you.
Oh my gosh, got my tears in my eyes, girl. Thank you. No,
I mean it.
I feel so utterly thankful for, it's funny because you said last week that your undergraduate degree was in communications. and so was mine. And
I
I
didn't
had
know
no idea.
that. I
I
didn't know
wanted to like shout it out
that.
last, you know.
This is why our conversations can go on for hours.
100%. That is a true fact. Um, and I, again, going back to how you finish your master's and then your ethical leadership and the way that everything that you do with your business and how you've always, I mean, you've had not just this business, you've had other businesses before, successful ones. And it's because of how your integrity, the way that you work, and I absolutely love that. And I encourage the listeners who are out there. There, you know, somebody messaged me just earlier today saying, "I've always wanted to do this." Well, you know what? Do it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't. I mean, why do we as women feel like we have to be perfect all the time? There is no perfect. And I have to say, when you go on social media, you see all of this like, oh, look at what they're doing and look at all the followers that they have. Guess what? Some of these people have had their account for 10 years.
That's right.
You had
That's right.
you have no idea the
That's
struggle that
right.
they went through just to get to this point. Like what you see today is so different from what it was 5, 10 years
That's right.
ago. So we can't compare ourselves today in this part of our journey to somebody's 10-year mark that they've
Mm-mm.
had ahead of us. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
We can't. So just
Mm-mm.
start. So
That's right.
just start,
That's
you know.
right.
And so I absolutely love your mission in helping other people have that thought process, because the world, like you said last week, being a human is hard
Mm.
already. It is hard. But when you can have people that, a community where you find that you can share, like, here's where my thought is, I need help with that. And just you bounce ideas on how you can move forward, whether it's building your career or bettering your business, whatever that is. It's so great that you are that consultant for so many people. And so I encourage my listeners, if you are in that point in your life and you need a little thought process, hit up Andrea. I am going to put all her information at the very end of this, and you guys will see it on our notes on YouTube. So I'm just thankful that you are here, because you bring purpose, and I know that you're going to be able to help so many lives because of that. Um, so let's continue on our conversation, because
Yes.
I'm telling you, we could go on forever.
Yes.
You know, the last thing that you shared with us last week was the tip of communication. And I love what you said about seek to be heard and not be right. And that, and it's all about that listening piece of it. I, I think that's such a key component when somebody is in business, when
Mhm.
somebody is managing a team of other
Mhm.
people, when they're building up their own business and you're solo, but you have clients or vendors that you have to work with. Guess what? It is a people business.
That's right.
Even if you're in accounting
That's right.
and you own an accounting
That's
business,
right.
guess what? You're dealing with numbers, but you have clients that you have to help. And if they don't know how to manage their receipts and all of that, you have to be able to communicate with them, right? But you have to listen to what's happening in their life, right?
You have to listen, and you also have to be malleable enough, flexible enough to, as you listen to them, part of that is the seek to be heard, not to be right. You have to release that your way is the only way as well. So I consider every moment that I have with other people an opportunity for me to learn, because even as I consult, people, they come in with a prescribed challenge that they're having. It's literally my job to come up with solutions, but my solution might not be the one that's tailor fit for their personality or their team. So I still have to listen to them and let go of that prescription that I had so
Mm.
that it can lean into what they need. I often do an activity with teams that I have that are having issues with communication and hearing the other side of things. And so what I will do is put up the number 7 and I ask, what two numbers can you add together to get the number 7? And so people will say 3 plus 4, 5 plus 2, 1 plus 6. Who's wrong?
No one's wrong.
But yet, so many of the disagreements
So
that
good.
we have are because people just want to be right.
Oh,
3 plus 4 is just as correct as 5 plus 2, but we will argue that thing down and we're both right. Neither of us is wrong. It's just about listening to your point of view. As long as it's going to get us to 7, what are we arguing about here? And that's why we have to listen, because if I listened to you and heard you say 5 plus 2, I wouldn't sit here trying to convince you it's -1 plus 8. No matter what, it's getting us to 7. So
yeah.
often I think that's the problem. We're just talking so that someone else can say we're right. When it's really, do you hear what I'm saying? Do you get where I'm going? And as long as we're there, a lot of that extra could be resolved.
So good. You know, the another thing too, when I speak with folks, whether it be at my work or other people that I've helped in the past, let's talk about mentorship
Mm,
and the importance of finding that mentor. I would love it from your perspective, because I know that, like you said last week, that you had a peer that even helped you kind of talk you off the ledge or whatever
mm,
that was going on at that time. And unbeknownst to that person, maybe they were mentoring you right at that moment. And I absolutely love that. And sometimes you need that. And not sometimes, you need it. And you can't do this journey alone, whether it's your own business, whether you are wanting to open a business, or whether you're in a career, whatever situation that you're at, you need that person. And so can we talk about mentorship? Would love your perspective on that.
absolutely. I actually um, have an idea in my mind of two different types. We call them both mentorship, but one is mentorship and one is sponsorship. And I think often people request mentors and they're really just looking for a sponsor. They're looking for somebody to take them by the hand, give them a letter of reference, or introduce them to the person that they need. It's very transactional. It's a great opportunity if you know someone who can serve as a sponsor, because they can get you in doors that otherwise you may not have been able to get into.
Yeah.
That's not a mentor. And it's important to understand the difference, because when you're asking someone for mentorship or you're seeking mentorship, it's it's so much better an experience for you if you understand the difference. If you're seeking sponsorship and you say, I just need 10 minutes of your time, if you can make a quick call, or if you know someone, or okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Mentorship is actually about relationship. And I believe the only two requirements that I have for a mentor are that they are honest. And
Mm.
I mean, for me, I need brutal honesty, and that they are someone who is willing to take the time with me when we decide it's appropriate. I am a horrible mentor depending on what cycle of my life you catch me. Sometimes I have so much time and I can sit with you and we can chat and we can go. But I will tell you that there are people in the world who ask me to be their mentor. And I said, sure. And I had no time for them. So I, to them, am a terrible mentor. So I believe for me, it's someone who can be completely honest and
Yeah.
someone who can take the time that you need. Now, that person can be someone who's been there, done that, and they're super seasoned. they're blackened. They've been
Yeah,
doing, they're
they've been
spicy.
seasoned.
They've been doing this longer than you've been alive. They know all the tricks in the trade. That is one type of mentor. You can
Mhm.
also have peers who mentor you. And I think we sleep on the idea of peer mentorship a lot because we're only looking for that seasoned mentor. But
Mm.
let me tell you about 45-year-old me. When we talked about social media, yeah, not my gift, not my talent. Definitely all my seasoning, my herbs and spices come out on that one because that's not my lane.
Yeah.
And so for that, if you're younger, you're better off seeking mentorship from someone your age who understands what's going on. It
Mhm.
behooves us, I think, to take the idea of who a mentor could be out of for that same example. I have a younger cousin. She's 13 years younger than I am. She
Mm.
mentors me on social media,
Love it.
right?
Yep.
It's just someone who can be honest with you
Yeah.
and take the time that you need. And it is so valuable for you to open up your idea of mentorship so that it's not just one person that you're leaning on to be the know all and be all. There is
Mm.
no one person in this world who has every answer that you need. That's a lot of pressure to put on them. And it's very burdensome for you because you will become easily resentful of the time or knowledge that they don't have that you need. So for me, mentorship is really relationship. If you are honest with me,
Mhm.
you know what you're talking about. I consider you a person of integrity, expertise, all the things, and you have the time to take from. I don't turn my head from anyone who has the capacity to teach me.
Yeah.
And so often, the problems that we face lie in our inability to learn. We're unteachable.
Yeah.
We have pushback for everything, or we want to find the flaw in just listen to someone who is honest. Let me tell you some advice I got from a mentor, and it hurt my feelings. I was I was upset. It was back at the organization where you and I work.
Okay.
And I was very upset because there was an initiative that another colleague and I, Gina, were trying to push, and we just kept hitting roadblocks.
Okay.
And a certain someone that we work with, who I trusted, pulled me to the side and said, "Okay, you don't know everything, and your problem is you think you know everything, and you don't. And so I need you to just be quiet and learn from the people who know what they're talking about. And it's okay if you don't know in that moment. Just speak when you have something to add. You don't have to speak just so people can hear you. You just speak when you have something to contribute, because otherwise you're taking away. And that's why you're getting all the hangups and holdups that you have. It's because you just got to keep talking. Just be quiet and let the people who have something to contribute say." I was so like, who are you talking to? Who do you think you're talking to? Just offended, angry, mad. I called my mother that night. I got a glass of wine when I went home, just mad. Called my mother. My mom's like, yeah, so he was right. You do think you know everything. And from that point on, I actually slept on it.
Mm.
From that point on, that was a person that I went to when I needed that kind of push, because sometimes I do need that. Sometimes I need a check, and I need someone who's not afraid to check me. I
Yeah.
also need comfort. And sometimes I have mentors who are so just nurturing,
Yes.
that the soothing way, that
Mm.
I don't have a mentor. I have mentors, and I have people I've known for decades. I have people who mentor me that I met last year. I
Mm.
don't pass up opportunities to learn from people who are audacious enough to be honest with me, expert enough that I listen to them,
Yeah.
and then they have the time that I need from them.
When you were speaking, something just kind of sparked in my head, where sometimes I love what you just said. It's so true. And the brutal honesty from a mentor, it's like, dang
Mm,
it, you're right.
mm,
Man. And like you said, sometimes you have to sleep through it and try to sleep on it and figure out, okay, you know what, maybe I could flex a little bit.
mhm, mhm,
But one thing as leaders, when you're especially like my listeners who are middle managers, they're or just becoming a manager now, and they have this, we kind of talked about it last week a little bit, where they have to prove themselves and whatnot, but they're not even hiring the people that might be smarter than them
mm,
because they're afraid that somebody's going to take over their space and everything like that. And I mean, I want your feedback on that, but I
mm,
just have to say, I see this so
mm,
often right now, where they hire people who are less than,
mhm.
where I feel like I was taught, like, I need to hire people smarter than me. I mean, I don't need to be the smartest, I don't need to be the smartest on the team. If I have other people who are smarter than me, I'm good for that. I am
That's right.
okay with that. Um, but why is it that,
Mm,
these kind of newer grouping, it happened before too, but newer leaders, why are we so afraid, or why were we so afraid of feeling that somebody was going to take over? And talk about how we should release that, because that is something that is going to hinder that leader long term.
Man, where do I start with this? Um, I will start with a testimonial that I give all the time, and I don't even know if you know this story. The person who was my director
Okay.
at the time
Hmm.
had a performance ish esque adjacent conversation with me
Okay.
and asked, "Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?"
Okay.
And I, in my young naivete, said, "I see myself in your role." Because in my mind, certainly you're going to move up. I considered him like the golden child,
Yeah.
right? Like, certainly you're going to move up. And
Yep.
when you move up, I move up. That was my intention.
Yeah.
He took it so offensively and
Oh,
took it as a threat to
threat.
take his job.
Mm,
And he began to spin his wheels in an effort, it appeared to me, to trip me up, to get me out of there.
wow.
He began to email colleagues to ask
Mm,
them why they had been speaking to me for 22 minutes. He had begun to do a lot of things behind the scenes to negatively impact my performance and ability to remain. And not shortly after that conversation, he himself was terminated for his own missteps and
right.
misbehavior.
Mhm.
And about 4 weeks thereafter, guess what? I got the job.
That's right.
That had his own insecurities
Mm,
not taken the better of him.
yeah.
Had he focused on the team and not himself, perhaps he'd still have that role.
Mhm.
I use him as an example because I think he is a case study on what happens a lot of times when you become intimidated by the people who work with you, or if you want to say for you.
Mhm.
It only makes you look smarter. It only makes you look more capable as a leader. It only makes you look promotable to the next level when you curate a team of people who can function without your presence.
Mm,
It also frees you to take personal time off and vacation and go to conferences and strategize and do more for the team. When you have people who are so astute that once you've onboarded them and trained them with the organization or the department specific items, that you can take your hands off and let them fly. They will always need you for certain tasks that they don't understand or new initiatives or projects. But how much more freeing would your job be if you didn't have to be in the trenches every day with everything?
That's right.
For that, you need capable people. I want someone in the room smarter than me. I want someone who knows what I don't know. And do you know how smart I look when I have a team that I can just go to and ask, what is this, and this? Or,
That's
you know what, Kathy, can you go in that meeting for me? Because I have to handle something else. I trust you. You've got this.
yeah,
You know how I look? I look like a boss. I
yeah,
look like someone that my organization trusts at a higher level because I was smart enough to bring in this menagerie of people who know a whole lot. And I want them to know more than me because I don't want to have to be present in every conversation. I don't want to have to input on everything. I don't want to touch every single thing that happens. I want to be able to trust you to do it
yeah.
so that I can take some time off and go spend it with my family, so that my baby and I can go to the San Diego Zoo. Like I want to be able to work on the vision for this
Mm,
department, and I need the time to do that. And I don't want to have to take that home with me in order to get it done, because I've had to watch every single bit of minutia that has taken place in my office space. I want to free myself to do my job more effectively by having capable people who are probably smarter than me. Please be smarter than me, so
yes.
that it frees me up to do the other things that I need to do aside from attending to every single thing that they have to do. And the only way that you can do that is to believe in your capabilities as a leader. So here's what typically happens: you are a subject matter expert. Someone recognizes how great you are at mastering those tasks, and they promote you to become a leader. The Center for Leadership Studies says that once you get to a certain level in leadership, about 80% of your job is no longer task related, it's the people stuff.
Yep.
If you are doing 80% of the people stuff at work, you only have 20% left of that workday to do the things that are tasked to you. But if you're so busy trying to be smarter than everyone else in the room, or not have people smart enough or capable enough to handle it without you being present, you're now taking work home because you don't have enough time in your workday. You don't have enough time now to spend with the people who actually love you. You
Yes.
don't have enough time to work out. You don't have enough time to sleep. You don't have enough time to take care of yourself because you're so busy being the smartest person in the room.
Mm, mm,
All you're doing is running yourself in this wheel of exhaustion.
yeah.
Where if you could release that and understand that as a people leader, your best attribute is leading people, not micromanaging, not being present for every decision, but being wise enough to hire the people who can handle those things without you present. You know how you look? Like a boss. You
Yes.
look like the person that people want to take to higher levels so that we can get more highly intelligent people in this organization. So we can get more initiatives running because we have bandwidth to do that because the people who are present are capable. That you look strategic, you look wise, you look smart, but you can stay insecure and have to be on top of everything. You're going to be an exhausted, whatever your position level, enter in blank space here for the rest of your days,
Yeah.
instead of being elevated because you have less burden on you by being the smartest person.
Oh, that's so good. Oh my gosh. It's so good. I absolutely love this. Who are you guys getting this, listeners? Give me goosebumps. I want to flip it to the other side of things because I've talked to other women also who get bypassed
Mm,
in roles. And, I've been through it.
I've been
I
through it.
know other people have been through it. And it's like, wait a minute. I know I'm capable of it, but why didn't I get that next level up? And I know that there are some of my listeners who feel that same way. And so I would love for you to share a little bit of that, and then we can wrap it up.
Absolutely. I love this because this actually is a more recent experience for me. And it left me devastated because I said this last week, my resume speaks for itself. And I don't say that haughtily. I don't say that as though like braggadocious or anything like that. The truth is, I have put in a lot of work in my career and in my education where I feel capable to handle most positions, right? I have the acumen for it. So to be passed up, it's like gut wrenching.
Yeah.
There is a quote. You and I had this conversation too previously. There's a quote from Zora Neale Hurston that says, "What is for you will not miss you." And that for me is not only the truth, but it is a saving grace. Because I think sometimes what happens, and even how we phrase it, we were passed up for something that we believed was ours.
Mm.
When you are qualified, capable, experienced enough for a position that you've applied and it was not awarded to you, you weren't passed up. You were saved for what is for you.
Mm.
That
So good. So
was
good.
not for you. And I will tell you my situation. I wanted this role for many reasons. I thought it should have been mine. I'll tell you that. So humbling, it's a humble pie. But I look at my life and the space, the capacity that I needed. I actually had I was 4 months out of a divorce. Um, I was still living, I was 8 months into living in the house
Oh,
with my ex-husband. I mean, divorce was filed in March. We lived in the house together until the following March.
have
So
mercy.
that was a whole dynamic. We were trying to sell the house. I have at the time a 3-year-old who I'm trying to potty train, who
Mm.
has a speech delay.
Mm.
And I am grieving the future that I'd imagined when I said I do.
Yeah.
I just gotten into the role that I was in, that I'm in currently, and I thought I deserved and should have had this other higher level position that I'd applied. And when I tell you angry does not even hurt, does not even disappointed, does not even describe, resentful doesn't even describe how I felt. I look back now, over a year later, and I am so grateful.
Mm.
And I'm grateful because had I been given the role, I wouldn't have been a good fit because it wasn't mine. Because remember, if it was mine, it would not have missed me.
That's right.
So if I'd gotten it, it wouldn't have fit anyway. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had the time that I needed to help myself and my son adjust to
Yes.
this new life that we had to live, this
Yeah.
new home that we had to move into, this new space and time that we had to become adjusted. And I wouldn't have been present for the other things that were happening in my personal life that I needed to take care of. Aside from that, the skill set that I have developed in the role that I am in now is actually the catalyst
Oh
for
my.
restructuring the business that
Oh,
I have now. This business would have been not just
non-existent
an
almost.
afterthought. It wouldn't have
Yeah.
even been on my radar.
Yeah.
How would I have time for it?
Yeah.
And what's so, man, what's so incredible about that is that this allows me space to walk in my actual purpose and calling.
Yes.
So when we look at things on a micro level, yeah, it's a title and yeah, it's a little bit extra on a paycheck, but we're talking about purpose. And now we're talking about legacy. And now we're talking about generational stuff. Like
Yeah.
it just changes the frame. Thank God I didn't get that job that I just knew was mine. So in the meantime, take the time to grieve that opportunity that you thought was yours and then pick yourself back up. Don't be so resentful because this is what happens. And I'm telling you, this is what happens because not just to me, but I've had conversations with other women specifically
Mm,
who have encountered this. Let me look for another job somewhere else because I'm going to show y'all. You didn't give me this one, I'll get this somewhere else. There's a reason
mhm.
that that job wasn't yours. And
Yes.
it'll be the same one that another one wasn't. And until you sit still enough, oh, a friend said to me
Oh, that's so
yesterday,
good.
and it was so good. He said, we're always looking to go, but sometimes we need to look to stop,
Mm,
not yield, not slow down, but stop.
so good.
Because what do you do when you stop? You wait, you look around,
Mm,
you have a moment to think, you have a moment to process next steps, stop.
yeah.
And when you don't get that position that you believed should have been yours, it is your call to stop and figure out what you need to learn, what tools you need to sharpen, what relationships you need to harness. Why am I still here?
Mhm.
Don't let that be a sad song that you're singing. Let it be an opportunity, going back to communication, to listen
Yes.
and figure out what you need to do better, build more of, explore outside of, that this one wouldn't be yours, then what is mine?
Mm,
Give yourself enough time to, and I'll tell you, I needed that. I needed that wake up call
yeah.
because I thought I was a golden child too. I thought, surely this is mine. But it opened up a world of what I didn't know to me
Yeah.
and what I needed to learn and who I needed to meet and all those things. So I am grateful for that no, because that no led me to right here, right now with you.
I
And
love
had I
it.
gotten the yes, we wouldn't have this moment.
That's exactly right. I know a lot of people want to know how to find you. Girl, talk to us about, how we can get in contact with you, share all of that because you are too good. I mean, there's so many people I know that might reach out to you for help and support, maybe get a consulting, maybe one or two
Please do.
sessions with you. I mean, talk to us. Tell us how we can find you on Instagram, on TikTok, social media. Where can we find you?
I am cracking up. I told you I'm old school and totally seasoned. So the idea of social media is just not, where it should be. But you can find me on Facebook at Capital D Consulting and on Instagram at Capital D Consulting. Don't pay attention to the lack of content. There's a post and we're getting more.
Yep.
But the community is there, which is most important. And from there, I can get you to my website, capitaldconsulting.com. We can definitely set up some consulting conversations, really, to get you going in the direction that you want to be. My tagline is be different in the best ways possible. So that's be a different version of you, be a different leader, be a different human to get to the best possible version of you. So I look forward to hearing from you all. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Kathy.
Absolutely. Everybody, you guys check out Andrea. She is so amazing. I mean, I can go on. I swear I can. But you guys have an amazing, empowered career woman day. I believe in you. I empower you. Let's go out and kick some butt out there. Okay. Love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.